respect people who have this faith.
Right.
But I can't stand it when somebody can just stand there and tell someone else that they're wrong for their beliefs, because I could never do that personally.
Ma'am, I don't think you've heard me.
You said you have no respect.
I said I have this much intellectual respect for an atheist who talks about hope. Study atheism. Study Camus, Sartre, all the great atheistic, Nietzsche. If you believe there is no God, man, there's no basis for a bright future.
How can that be? I have hope for all the children in the world to have a bright future. I have hope that there will be no war. I hope that we will all live a happy existence. That's hope. That's the essence of hope. I don't have hope for the afterlife, but I still have hope.
Okay, then I'm sorry. We got to define hope. Hope is not just wishful thinking. You're right. Regardless of whether we're atheist or theist, we can wish a happy future for our children. Okay? When I use the word hope, I'm talking about a confident expectation of good in the end. And you see, if you're an atheist, what you've got to acknowledge is the end is the end. The end is we're all fertilizer. You see, there's no confident expectation of good. Does that make sense?
I completely disagree with that, because
okay.
if you've lived a good life and you're true to yourself,
yes,
isn't that the essence of hope? What you're talking about is faith.
No, ma'am. Hope has to do with the future. Hope is a confident expectation
the future is so
that
vague
good.
To begin with.
Pardon?
Are you talking about millions of years down the road or tomorrow? The future's vague. You're not being specific enough. Because if I have hope for tomorrow, that's still hope. What you're talking about is faith. You're talking about faith for the future. That's completely different than hope.
All right, you're right. There is a connection between faith and hope. If my faith is that there is no God, if my faith is that there is no God, then I can't be an intellectual hypocrite and talk about, wow, there's a bright future out there. I don't know that. Despair is the logical conclusion of atheism.
I'm not in despair, though. I don't understand how atheism is despair when I don't have despair.
Okay, and ma'am, you see, all I'm trying to do is intellectually challenge you, because I don't think you're being honest with yourself. Read Camus, Albert Camus. Read Jean-Paul Sartre. Read any of the great atheist philosophers. And what they point out with searing honesty is, because there is no God, when you die, you rot. When I die, I rot.
But I will have left something on this planet for others to remember me by. That's where the hope comes in. I hope in future generations, I want to be in theater, I want to write plays. Okay. I hope future generations pick up my play like they pick up Shakespeare and say, oh, I totally understand what this person was thinking. I understand this time, this place. That's hope.
Okay. Now, no, ma'am, I'm not trying to offend you, but what are the possibilities of your plays being read like Shakespeare's plays have been read?
Slim to none, but I still can hold that hope, can't I? Like you can hold the hope that you will get to heaven.
Good. Okay, now that's the difference. You see, when a follower of Christ talks about hope, he's not talking about something as slim as, I hope my plays will be read like Shakespeare's plays have been read. Rather, hope for a follower of Christ is a confident expectation of good based on the promises of Christ. The evidence is Christ doesn't lie. The evidence is he's reliable. He has promised us eternal life when we put our faith in him.
I don't need a promise to go for what I believe in, though.
Okay, fine. But then, ma'am, would you please face reality? And reality is, no offense to you, but reality is that your plays will probably not be read with the same frequency that Shakespeare's plays have been read, even if they are. If there is no God, when that thing burns out, curtains. We're all freezing. And to tell you the truth, before that burns out, something else is probably going to happen. We're either going to blow ourselves to bits with a nuclear bomb, or something else is going to bring this thing we call life on planet Earth to a screeching halt. If there is no God, man, we're all headed towards the fertilizer pit. Now think about that.
I have.
Well, if you think about that honestly, you can't talk to me about a confident expectation of good out there. You've got to be honest. And you've got to say, it's the fertilizer pit, guys. That's where we're headed. And that's why Camus and Nietzsche and Sartre say, you know, you guys in Western Europe and the United States who call yourselves atheists, you better start being honest with yourselves. And you better stop talking about hope for the future. You better realize there is no hope for the future. We're all become fertilizer. Which means that morality is relative. Which means, if you want to be Mother Teresa, go right ahead. But if you want to be Adolf Hitler, go right ahead. You see, it really ultimately doesn't matter. It's just simply what you choose to do. So if you want to be Hitler the second, go ahead. If you want to be Mother Teresa the second, go ahead. But it's all relative.
See, now you're getting completely away from hope. Now you're getting into free will.
No, ma'am, I'm not.
It's a completely different thing.
Oh,
yes,
come on.
It's free will. If you have choice to either be good or evil, that's free will.
Ma'am, don't you realize what you told me your hope was based on? You stood there and told me, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a playwright. I'm going to write plays. And people are going to enjoy those plays like they enjoy Shakespeare's plays.
But if they don't, it's not going to stop me from trying to get to that hope, that dream.
But if you take your atheism seriously, what you've got to realize is, I can go and make those plays, or I can go out and poison people to death. It's ultimately meaningless. Which means despair is the only logical conclusion of atheism. It doesn't matter whether you feed the starving, or whether you slaughter the starving. It's all relative. It's all meaningless. It all ends in the same place. The fertilizer pit.